it appears that the federal government and state and local governments have just decided we're just going to pretend that this thing is not happening, where we're getting, over 1 million infections a day in this country, close to it. And we're watching a lot of places just sort of decide we're just going to ride it out. In New York City, the mayor just seems to be like, well, if you test kids coming in, you're going to find out that they're positive. It's that type of deal. And of course, now we're starting to see 21 days out, deaths rise, hospitalizations rise. We still don't know the implications of long COVID, specifically with Omicron, in any type of sort of meaningful way. So there's a lot of reason for concern. The hope is maybe this burns out quickly. That seems to be their plan. Let's just see if we can get through the next 3 weeks and everything will be fine. We'll see about that. But Ron DeSantis, governor of Florida, has an interesting take on this. One has to wonder, why do you order about 1 million tests if you are the governor of Florida? And the reason is obvious: just to watch them expire and become bad. Why else would you pay for it? Here's Ron DeSantis.
Now think about it. Before COVID, did anyone go out and seek testing to determine if they were sick? It's usually you feel like you're sick, and then you get tested to determine what you maybe have come down with. And so this is kind of a new thing where they've been saying just go out and test all the time. And again, you're free to do it. But I think what the DOH guidance from Florida is saying is that is unlikely to yield very much clinical value for you. And it also creates a lot of second-order follow-up problems. It's essentially a lockdown by stealth, in the sense of if you test positive but you're not sick or have symptoms, you may have to isolate. They don't even know, the test can't tell you if you're even infectious or not. And these PCR tests, you can test positive for weeks after you've been infected, months even in some cases. And so what happens is blanket testing of healthy people, it leads to some kids being not in school. It leads to people not being able to go to work, and doing some of these isolation, which may not even be justified. And so I think those guidelines are very sensible. And again, it's not saying people can do what they want to do, but I can tell you to just force healthy people like businesses to do that or whatever. We don't advise that at all. We think that's a mistake. We think people should live their lives. And then if they develop symptoms, you can obviously get a test. And if you're at risk and the treatment would really change the course for you, we obviously want to see that treatment done.
Emma made the point that it's a little ironic they're sitting there in front of a hurricane preparedness thing. Let's just talk about hurricanes. Like, you could prepare for a hurricane, but what if it doesn't come?
Yeah.
What if you board up your windows and the hurricane doesn't come? Then you gotta take the boards down, and then what if you while you're hammering the nails into the board that you put in, and you smash your thumb? What are you going to do then? If you
it's a waste of time, and your thumb's a little sore.
We could have a lot of people around the state with broken hands, and then you're going to be looking at like what are going to happen? How many orthopedic doctors do we have? You're going to have a breakdown of our orthopedic doctor system with the hurricane preparedness. That's what we're here for, to tell you, don't prepare unless you start to see the hurricane, unless you start to feel the wind blow. And not until we get about 50 miles per hour. That's when you start to prepare for the hurricane.
Well, it's interesting to me, too, because he mentions for you. You hear that, right? There's little clinical value for you, because the Republicans constantly want to make this an individual health issue as opposed to one that is a collective effort. That is what they've been trying to do. And by the way, the Biden administration doesn't seem to have that much of a response here, where it's just like, we're not going to shut down. We're not going to consider it. We're not going to have like a new approach. Vaccinations, and then that's about it. And Democrats across the country are dealing with it the same way, too, like here in New York as well. But this wasn't DeSantis. I think this was Rick Scott when he was governor. He wanted to, was this the case? He was trying to get a drug testing provision for welfare recipients. That is you can do preventative testing in order to make sure that people who need money are not getting government benefits. No, that is a huge priority. But preventative testing in order to stop the spread of a deadly disease, that you can't do that. If you're asymptomatic, I mean, please only get tested if you are coughing up due to COVID.
It does sort of raise the question, why did you buy all those tests in Florida?
Yeah.
I mean, they're about to go bad. They're about to all expire. We got them just in case that we decided that we wanted to test and we decided we didn't want to test.
And probably because somebody made a buck on it. But like the idea that there was blanket testing, like, what are you talking about? People were testing themselves if they felt sick or because they were traveling, right? Like, it wasn't like you're just going to get tested because you're having fun.
I mean, the bottom line is that you want to test to protect others. You want to test because maybe you think that you've been in some way exposed by others, or you're feeling bad. The idea that, yes, that people are going out and like, you know what, we could go to a movie, or we could just go to one of those mobile vans and get tested.
Oh, rage face
and just
there as our
thing up our nose.
toes
Exactly.
freeze off. Yeah. I mean, no preventative care, preventative health care, useless. Don't get mammograms. Seriously.
Or STD
I mean,
tested. Just wait until something's wrong.
Yeah.
I don't want to kink shame, but there's a lot of people going around with those, going out on dates now with and then doing the nostril thing. And that's, I mean, it's a waste of tests.
Don't knock it till you try it.
Yeah.
Don't knock it till you try it.